Okay, we're at the My Network diagram, which is very reflective of your activity in local vaults and on the especially on the peer-to-peer market, which is why mine looks kind of like a big spider. So essentially, what this chart is showing is what are the grid type relationships and what is the electrical distance between the people you're trading with. So firstly, every end node, these little sort of pinky coloured ones, are sites, houses, businesses, what we generally call facilities in the local vaults network. And during this day, so this is 1st of January is selected, I've got some form of relationship at some time with all of these. Now, the dark orange line means that at this point in time, in this current 5 minute period, I'll just drag this one out so we can see it. At this current 5 minute period, this trade is actually happening. So at the moment, and this is a grid transaction. So at the moment, it's nighttime at the moment, so I'm not producing any solar. So the screen's just updating for the next 5 minutes. At the moment, I'm drawing power from the New South Wales grid. So my current relationship is with the New South Wales grid. Now, these little nodes in between, the first ones here, where it says like Albury 132 kilovolts, these are the transmission node identifiers, or the high voltage connection points on the grid. As we get out to the next stop, this is the distribution points. We don't have them labeled, but essentially this will be the local substation. And you can see in some of these where I've got some trading relationships, some of those counterparties I'm trading with are connected to the same substation as I am. So all these users, so we're on the simulation system, so everyone's Bob with a number. So all of these people who I'm trading with throughout the day are connected to the same Ausgrid substation, and that's in Sydney North, the high voltage point there. I've also got some inter-regional or interstate trading. So down here, we've got this counterparty who's in South Australia. They're going through the South Australian grid. Now, to get from New South Wales, where I am, to South Australia, we've got to go through Victoria, because that's the way the interconnectors work. So first we're going through the New South Wales Victorian interconnector, and then the Victorian South Australia interconnector, which is these dotted lines. So it is possible in the local vaults peer-to-peer market to actually trade with someone in a different energy market region or a different state than where you are. But the regions have different prices, and they're separated by lines with certain capacities. So it's quite a fairly complex work going on in the background to make that trade happening, but it happens automatically like any other trade with local people. We have all sorts of locational price adjustments, which means a trade across states may or may not look cheaper at the time of purchase. But yeah, you can trade with someone down the street as easily as you can trade with someone in Tasmania or Queensland, South Australia from New South Wales.
So for a community group or perhaps a family who's sharing electricity between properties, this looks like a great screen to get a quick snapshot of whether the connection's working for a start, and to get a visual picture of that community connection.
Yeah, and that can be like an actual community, like as say a family or a community group, or even just essentially as the trading community that you're dealing with. It might be someone you can do trades on local vaults in a you can arrange a trade bilaterally and put it through the system at an agreed price, or you can just bid or offer energy out to the wider market. So yeah, this screen is basically showing your network in a sense. This screen will be different for every person on LocalVolts, and it can be very radically different. So someone who does no trading would just have a couple of lines on there, pretty much just going to their local state grid. Whereas, as you can see, there's a fair degree of trading here. Someone with even more would have more connections on this.
And this also visualizes and highlights the ability for communities or groups to be, there's no longer a need for them to be geographically close. You can have a community connection from North Queensland down to southern Tasmania.
That's right. Like families don't always live next door to each other either. So you could be trading within a family that lives interstate, or just not super close. So yeah, it just maps out that that network effect, and it also I think gives an idea of the structure of the network. So it's a good educational tool too when we talk about the grid, or what's the New South Wales price. Every price at every point here is different, and that's the way the national electricity market works. So it helps to give a little bit of insight as to essentially the transmission lines and distribution lines that power is going across, and what's happening. So we've just seen, as we've gone into a new interval here, there's another line that showed up, which is up here. So that means in this interval a trade's happening, and so this facility, we've got this peer-to-peer relationship that's now executing.
And for all our customers who are on the live system, all those bobs will become actual facility names.
Yeah, these will be actual names. Yeah, they're just fake names for this system. So I can go back, and this is every screen at the top here, every tab is a particular aspect of, in this case, the day. So if I want to look into that a bit more, I can look for the black line, which is now, and it can see that here's my sale price. I'm selling a very little bit of energy peer-to-peer at 4.9 cents. So you can zoom in on any aspect that you potentially want to see.